fulfilling people's stories. It's sort of a long story. The one I was going to tell is sort of long. So I'll tell you another story. Okay. This is the story that I'm writing this week. I'm writing every week. I send out a story that I'm writing. I'm writing a story. There was communist revolution, and the communists took over. One day they called him into one of the communist offices, and he figured because he had all these medals and things like that, they accused him of being loyal to the Tsar, because he fought in the army for the Tsar, and they sentenced him to 15 years in Siberia. So he went, and they had no choice. They sent him, they put him in prison, and then they told him that they were going to give him an option if he wanted to, that he could go to Siberia, the colder part of Siberia. Siberia is really big. You could go to the northern part of Siberia that they want to make an outpost, a secret outpost. The Russians want to make it. You'll have to be on it's very dangerous. And the journey takes like a couple of months to get there. Because they had to go through. Also, every year that you're there, 5 years of your, or every 3 years, I'm sorry, every year you're there, it's like 3 years of service. That's what it is. 3 years. So he took it. He took the job. So he went there. It took him a couple months. And he was there for, a couple of years. And almost everyone that was there died. They died from diseases, they died from cold, they died from this. And they gave up the whole, he told me the story. So they gave up the whole project. And they got on the ship and they came back to Russia. And when they came back, they told him that he was free. That's it. They had backed out. I guess he was only for 2 years, 3 years, whatever. They told him that the sentence was over and he was free. But he had been there for 3 years. And he got absolutely nothing done. So he didn't understand what, he felt he should have been just happy to get out. But for some reason, it really weighed on his mind that there was all these details that he went there with the ship, and it was built and all these plans and everything, and absolutely nothing came out of it whatsoever. So it really bothered him. It really bothered him very much. And I guess he probably wasn't so stable anyway because of all the things that had happened to him. So he was wandering around. He wasn't religious. He had come from a religious family, but he left it totally to fight when he went to the army. So he was wandering around. One night he happened to be that he was walking down the street, and he happened to go by a little small Chabad shul. It was late at night, and the people were sitting there and they were singing. They were sitting and singing. It was a forbidden. So he went in. He had nothing to do. He went in and he sat down, and it had gotten to the point where everybody that he met, anytime he would sit next to somebody, any opportunity he had, he would tell people about how he went to Siberia and how nothing happened, and he was really just amazed and totally confused that nothing had happened. He wasted 3 years of his life, and he was telling everybody this story. So he went in, and he sat down, and he heard they were talking, and he told them the story. So they said, we can give you the answer. I'll give you the answer. Just sit down. Take a l'chaim. Sat down, take a l'chaim. He said, he wanted to tell them a story. I'm a Chassidic, the older Chassidic. So once there was a Chassid of the Rebbe of Rushin. He was Chassid of the Rebbe of Rushin. And he worked in gems. He used to sell gems. And there was a big baron, a baron, an older guy that really liked him. Used to do business with him. One day the baron calls him and says, listen, I saw this precious marble. I really looked at the stone. I really in love with it, the stone. He shows him. He said, oh yeah, I know that. You can only find that in India. He said, listen, that's what I heard too. The baron says, here, I'm going to give you money. I can trust you. You're the only person that I know I can trust. I'm giving you money. I want you to go to India and buy the stone and bring it back. And I want you to commission a sculptor that'll make a statue of me, and I'll put it on my front lawn. And when I die, I want the statue to be on my grave. I said, okay. Gave him a fortune of money. The Jew takes the money, and before he goes, he says, just one second. Before I go, I want to go and ask my rabbi if this will succeed or not. So I went and asked the Rebbe of Ruzhin, and he said, yes, it's a good thing, wonderful thing, you should do it. It's very necessary, you should go. I said, okay. So he takes the money, he gets on a ship, fastest ship, and he goes to India. Goes to India, it's a long journey until he gets there and he finds the stone. It's also longer, month he has to go. And he buys the stone, a big block of, this marble, and he has it loaded on the ship. And he goes back. On the way back, the ship sinks. Of course, the stone gets lost, and all of his money he already paid for the thing. And he happened to be that he went on some sort of an island, found an island, in the middle of this, and he lived on this island for a couple of years. For how long? And he managed to survive on the island. He ate food, he ate this, and then finally he sees another ship, signals to another ship. And the ship takes him back to Poland, Ukraine, wherever the Rebbe of Ruzhin was. And the first thing he gets back is he runs to the house of this baron to tell him what happened, why it's been so long and what happened. The ship sank, and he goes to the castle of the baron and knocks on the door. Some strange person answers the door. He says, I'm looking for Baron, Polanski. Baron Polanski, I don't know what that is. So who was the previous owner? No, the previous owner was a person called Duke, Duke someone else, Duke, Ferry. So he said, well, Ferry, where did Duke Ferry go? He said, oh, he passed away. But I know that the person that owned that before this Duke Ferry was another person, and he was called Prince, some Posty or something. He says, well, then where's the Polanski? I don't know. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows where he is. They went around, didn't have any children, didn't have anything left. So he goes to the Rebbe, goes back to his Rebbe of Ruzhin, and he says to him, well, I don't understand what's going on. The Rebbe said, oh, it's good to see you back. Your ship sank, right? He said, yes. What happened? I mean, nothing happened. There's no money, there's no stone, there's no baron, there's no anything. It's like nothing happened whatsoever. What happened? Why did you want me to go? So he said, because in this place where you were, on this island that you were, there were sparks of holiness. It had to be elevated. There had never been a Jew there. And the time that you spent on the island, you elevated those sparks of holiness to the Creator. And that's why you had to go. So Reb Nechemi, he told me this whole story. He said, that's why I became religious. He said, I did not understand a word that man said. I don't know what the sparks are, what the holiness is, but I realized that there's an explanation, a spiritual explanation to all of the meaningless things that a Jew does in this world, all of the failures and the frustrations. But nevertheless, this thing of raising up sparks. Suddenly understood that's the reason why I had to go to Siberia. Right? It was the Jew had to be in this place. And now I understood. So that's the same thing while we're here in the world, to raise up sparks. We don't understand it, but in the future we'll understand everything. As someone told me, in this world we understand nothing. But we can do. In heaven, after you die, you understand everything, but you can't do anything. So now eventually we'll also be able to do and also be able to understand. Have a good day, everyone. The electricity is still off over here. So we'll forego the Sichos class and we'll all see each other by 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, I'm sure that